Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu. Pakhair raghale. Ni hao. Chune shumme. Washmale. Ohio Gonzaimas. Guten Morgen. Hi, hugs and hellos and a very amazing Khush Ahmadid to, well, this morning. You're obviously tuned into PT Water, ladies and gentlemen. With me, I have Maha Makhdoom and I am Shahzad Khan.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hello Shahzad, how are you?
I'm absolutely perfect. A bit overworked though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm having one of those days where, you know, you've been continuously working for an entire week and then you couldn't catch up with all your Z's. So
Okay. But I don't think you would have been able to catch up with all your Z's because with all the celebrations that were taking place the whole weekend regarding the Independence Day, which I hope everyone enjoyed and had a good and safe time. And I hope you respected the country that you're living in and you did pick up your trash and everything.
Yeah, and there's only one thing which I want you to say, and that is that we have been reiterating and giving them public service messages that please, you know, even if it's 14th of August or 13th or whatever day it is, you do not really have to rash drive. You do not have to do one wheeling and whatnot. But look, wow, you guys didn't even listen a word.
It's okay. But, you know, that's what the security systems are there for and the police are there for everyone to make sure that they behave. But Shahzad, I think we have a lot to talk about today.
Exactly.
So let's get started with our top stories.
Let's do it. President Mamnoon Hussain says Pakistan, in collaboration with China, will continue its efforts to eliminate the menace of terrorism.
Pakistan and China have signed different documents to enhance bilateral cooperation in fields of education and infrastructure development.
Kashmiris on both sides of line of control observe the Indian Independence Day as Black Day today.
And the Special Azadi train is continuing its journey countrywide in connection with the 70th Independence Anniversary celebrations.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, these were the top stories. Time now for a public service message. Maha, are you ready to give away a public service message?
Yes, so let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, guys, so as we mentioned in the before the show, well, when the show started, is that we celebrated our Independence Day, everyone was having fun, but now it's the aftermath of the celebrations. And you know, I've seen a lot of flags and a lot of national symbols that have been disregarded. You know, all this respect we talked about before the actual celebration started. Now, you know, I'm seeing that, you know, it's all everywhere. So guys, pick up your flags. That's not where it belongs. It does not belong on the floor where people can stand on it and it will get tramped on and disrespected.
And just treat them as if, you know, it's still not 14th of August, because what happens is that, you know, when it's going to be 14th of August, you guys are so eager to get all of these buntings and flags and whatnot so that you can decorate your houses, you can decorate your cars and all of those things which you want to decorate. As soon as 14th of August goes away, please do not do that. You know, you get our point, and this is what we are trying to tell you, because this is, just as Maha said, this is not where the flag belongs. Flag belongs over here, obviously. So please make sure that you keep it on somewhere safe.
Exactly, and obviously we'll be celebrating more Independence Day, so you can always recycle them for next year as well. So now, Shahzad, we have another show which is in line with, it's not a lecture. We don't like to lecture you guys. We don't like to preach, but we like to raise your awareness about the situation of what's happening across the globe and how things across the world actually are having effect on us directly.
Exactly, and even other than that, Maha, to be more precise, I think it's the subcontinent we live in. We do have India as our neighbors, and we have got China, and then we've got these other countries who've actually got massive production plans, or for example, in terms of energy, I think. But just because of them, I think that we are getting the most effect within the climate as well. And then half of the time, I think I was very happy when we got to know that this is what we were going to talk about, because people literally mix up climate change and global warming. So I think we will get started with that first of all.
Okay, so yeah, let's start that. And like Shahzad said, we'll be discussing climate change and energies and different actions that Pakistan is taking, needs to take, and what are the consequences if we don't take them.
Exactly, and what we can do as individuals to stop it as well.
So let's start.
So on my right-hand side, we have been joined by Dr. Ijaz Ahmed, who is an environmental expert and ex-senior director at WWF Pakistan. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. morning to all of you
Walaikum
and to
assalam.
our viewers.
Thank you very much for coming over. And just alongside Dr. Ijaz Ahmed, a very young, smart, amazing human being who's been working in the energy sector, none other than Mr. Mohammed Bilal. He's an earth and environmental scientist, social activist, and writer, and a regular analyst too. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Wonderful. Shazad, thanks a lot for inviting me over the show.
Thank you
And
very much.
really honored to be sitting along with, such prolific character, a larger than life character in his respective.
Characters.
Yes, character. that
We haven't
goes
done it.
without saying, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks to PD World
Thank you.
for letting us to speak our heart out over
Okay.
this.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much for being here today, and it's a very important topic. So, Shazad has the first question for you,
Yeah,
sir. So,
yeah.
So, global warming and then climate change.
Yeah. Generally, when we talk about climate change, it's a very large kind of like a more long-term process, whereas global warming is one of the factor which is contributing to the climate change.
All right.
So when you talk about climate change, it's basically aggregation of all the like weathers and all the disruptions and events which are
So
happening.
it's on a larger scale.
It's on a larger scale of time as well as larger scale of the globe. as
And
well.
then global warming.
Global warming is mainly is directly related to the change in temperature only. So when we talk about climate change, it's more like floods, rains, snowfalls, glaciers. Whereas when we talk about global warming, it's just like change in the temperature.
That's it.
So and the factors which are contributing to global warming are also contributing to climate change. But global warming is mainly caused due to this ozone depletion
greenhouse
and greenhouse.
So
effect.
for example, if today it is 52 degrees centigrade and yesterday it was 40 degrees centigrade, is it correct to say that it's globally more warm today?
Not really, but yes, as
That was a
well.
joke,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
so
it's-
now, when one is when they're talking about the differences and the impacts that each thing has, obviously it goes hand in hand.
Exactly.
Like you said, global warming, when the Earth is warming up, it's going to have a change in the climate, etc. So now, what do we mean? What are the consequences of this effect on climate change?
Well, we are all, like seeing that the weather patterns are changing,
Yes.
and like it's very obvious the temperature are rising in summer, and in winter it is decreasing. The rains that we used to get on regular basis has also changed.
Yes.
The patterns have changed. So, which is kind of like having impact. When we talk about, like in relation to Pakistan, specifically.
Yeah, let's talk about Pakistan and the effects of climate change in
Yeah.
Pakistan.
So we are sort of like a blessed country in a sense that maybe Pakistan is perhaps the only country in the world which has such a diversity of geophysical ranges,
weathers too,
starting
yeah.
from the Arabian Sea up to the second highest mountain peak in the world. And the highest is in Nepal, which does not, it's a landlocked country, which does not have any coastal area, any marine ecosystem, etc. So the diversity of issues are also, very high. Starting from the sea level rise up to the glacier melts.
Yeah.
So we have, like issues related to drought. At the same time, we are also having facing issues of floods. So in the same country, same places, Balochistan is suffering from droughts, whereas in Punjab and Sindh, we are
Yeah.
suffering from floods.
Yeah.
So it's very, uniqueness from that point of view. And if we start from the coastal areas, so we have the sea level rise, which is a global phenomena as well. Seawater intrusion, which is changing the aquifer, which is changing the underground water, which actually resulting in the change in the whole lifestyle.
All right.
Because the saline water is coming, and then species like fish, which is basically livelihood of million of people.
Yeah.
So that is also, like the dependence on the lifestyle is also creating problems.
Okay.
Then migration, climate migration is going on. People who are suffering from it, they move to other places. And then what happens is the profession that they are involved in is like fishing, whereas they don't know how to do agriculture, etc., or they have to go for cheap labor, etc.
Okay.
So that has a different dimension. So then coming.
Now, before we dig into this one, I think we need to move on to Bilal, and then we'll come back to the reasons. What are the reasons? Now, Bilal, since you're an earth and environmental scientist, the only thing which I would love to ask is, How do you see the difference when Pakistan was actually there in 1947 and now in 2017? How do you think things have changed, and how do you think that we have contributed as a society towards disasters?
Shahzad, it's really, basically this is a whole full, length story. We really cannot imagine that the land that God has gifted with, such awe-inspiring diversity in, climate, those magnificent topography, and that fauna and flora flourishing in its highs and lows has suddenly transformed into a desert, literally a desert. It has been left stranded in the wilderness of devastation of environment. I mean, there are many interesting facts that I can, put along with my discussion. I mean, the thing is that it's really beyond imagination. Our land, we have got, the world's top mountain chains, and that's mighty roaring Indus River that is traversing across the the bread baskets of central Punjab, and all these things, all these attributes that nature possesses, they are not, they're not given to many other countries. They're less privileged countries, but thing is that maybe we've been so much oblivious and so much limbo towards the fact that what actually, how to preserve our environment.
Okay, so now, as building up on the points that that says
Dr.
already,
Ijaz.
Dr. Ijaz has already pointed out. Now, you said that, people who are going fishing may not know. We've seen, we just talked about the evolution from 47. But, we're agriculture-based society. So what impact does that actually have? Because when you actually look at it on the table of the countries that are being most affected, Pakistan is at the top. It's one of the most vulnerable countries.
I think
But
it's on number
also-
7.
Yeah, but it's also not contributing as much to the damage, which is a good and a bad thing in itself, because it has that's different impacts on the economy and that in the industry. But what is happening there? How can Pakistan kind of help itself?
And Mahad, this is an amazing question, though.
Yeah, I think I lost the point towards the end, but I think you got
Well,
the
we're
question.
talking about agriculture.
Yes,
Yeah.
agriculture, yes.
So basically, again, due to change in the patterns, weather pattern, climatic conditions, we see when we talk about wheat, which is the main staple food of the country. Last year, due to less rains, and the rains were not there at the time when the crop was, sown. So due to that factor, only just because of the delayed rains, there was not enough cultivation of wheat. And then we
The
have
harvestation
irrigated.
got delayed.
Yes, exactly. We have irrigated areas, but then we also have rain-fed areas, like the whole Potwar region and this area where we are sitting. It's a rain-fed area, and people are very much dependent on rain for their cultivation for any crop that they grow. So they have to actually wait till the rain started, and rain started quite late, and then ultimately they have to actually again sow the crop. So this is just one example, of this season. Last year, the same thing happened. At the time of harvest, the heavy rain started. Even this year,
and
we
the
had
crops were damaged.
early monsoon, and then crop was damaged. So that is, very direct impact on the production, on the overall yield of the crop. So which ultimately, the issue of food security will come into this discussion.
I'd like to add one more point over here, because we're talking about that agrarian sectors. It's interesting to note down that basically, in between 1947 to 1949, this sector was contributing almost 53% of the total GDP, but it has fallen down to...
Because that was the only thing we had then, I think. That's one reason too.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, so now it's fallen?
No industry was there.
But more, the other developed countries, they're basically using that state-of-the-art technology to actually enhance their production capacity. But now, that factor, 53% of the total GDP factor, has has tumbled down to just 21% at
Okay.
this very moment.
So I think
Okay,
that's why
now-
Dr. Jasab even mentioned about food security,
Yeah,
and this is what we have to
perfect.
talk about, right?
So let's move on to food security. So what do we do now? In
Because
regards
it's not just the agriculture, it's the aquaculture too, and then all of
Right.
the industries are linked with it.
Yeah. Like like earlier I was talking about the seawater intrusion. So
Yeah.
the seawater, there are species of fish which does not, like they don't survive in fresh water. They survive only in marine ecosystem, and similarly vice versa. Palla was one of the very delicacy of Pakistan.
And it was very
used to
expensive
travel
too.
from sea for spawning into the river, but due to this low water level, so they cannot actually move for spawning.
Right.
So just imagine, like, and it's very expensive. It's like 1,500 rupees per kilogram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then the livelihood of the people who were dependent on that fish actually has gone.
Okay.
So like it's not only agriculture; it's the all different.
It's linked with
spheres.
everything.
Yeah.
So I think now what
Okay.
we need to do is, you want to go ahead?
No, no. Well,
Okay, so
let's
now-
see what you're going to
So
say.
now I think that we need to move on to a larger scale. So let's talk about the macro level and what's happening all around the globe. And it's because of the fact that every year United Nations comes out with these resolves, and then they have these protocols. I think earlier they were this Kyoto Protocol or whatnot. And recently what I've seen is that since the Trump government has actually taken over, they've actually withdrawn from all the protocols, and they're like that we're not going to be a part of it, just because of the fact that they want to offer more jobs to people and they want to produce immense amount of whatever.
Using coal, I
yeah.
think, right?
So I think all of these are contributors. How do you think that we are actually going to get them to sign all of these protocols for all of those countries who are not abiding by them?
Well, U.S. Was not signatory in any way,
Yeah.
so they were still looking, they were still observing and reviewing the whole process, and their commitments were not very high as well. I think from another angle, if we see the China and India, the emerging economies, not emerging, they have already emerged now.
Yeah.
They have shown commitments. So I think that is a very positive sign as well. Like globally though, and then I think most of the countries, least developed countries, so there are different, like a group of 77, then there is a group of 121 countries who are actually trying and then pursuing and pressurizing U.S. government, although like they're not going to listen, but I think there is no harm in keep on trying.
Okay.
So the China, India, Brazil, Indonesia, all these countries are basically, including Pakistan, we have shown commitment.
Okay.
Pakistan, well, there is under this UNFCCC, United Nations Framework for Climate Change. So they had this INDCs, which is intended nationally nationally determined commitments.
Okay.
So then Pakistan has committed that by 2030, at the current rate, we are actually emitting 400 plus million ton of carbon dioxide equivalent, and which will go up to 1600 by 2030. So we have committed that provided we have technology, we have support, finances, we have capacity, we will be reducing it 20% reduction. So
That's
that kind
huge.
of commitments is globally available from different countries.
Okay, wonderful. So everyone is willing to work together in this, I think, to a certain
Yes,
degree. Okay, that's fantastic. Now, talking about the from a global point of view, we just before the show started, we're talking about that. Why isn't our knowledge or understanding of the consequences of climate change being realized within Pakistan? Because as we mentioned, there is a lot of, we are one of the most vulnerable countries. We have the glaciers, the glacier that's melting. So let's talk about that, because that lack of knowledge is from the absence of monitoring and valuation, which is happening within the country.
Exactly.
So what is happening in that respect, and what is the danger? Is the glacier going to go? Like, what's going on?
Well,
They gone, I think. Half of them are gone.
They are our saving accounts. Actually, glaciers are basically, because that is kind of a stored water that we have in the form of snow. That and Pakistan is blessed with such a big reservoir, and I think Bilal knows better that the contribution of these glacier melt in Indus River is very high. I think 70%,
70%, yes.
more than maybe 70% of water that we get is because of the glacier melts. So, and then due to this,
And just correct me if I'm wrong over here. And is it the reason that we are getting floods too?
not necessary, because I mean, like it could be one of the phenomena.
Okay.
But then I think normally it is torrential rain which actually contributes. If we have high level of rains, so then the flood actually then comes.
Okay, let's take it back to a bit more. Let's go back. Let's make the question a bit more basic. So the glacier within Pakistan, what is its impact and its necessity to the country?
Basically, you know, like glaciers, they are, as Dr. Saab has just mentioned, that they are basically the consolidated form of water that are placed over there. So basically, they are, you know, giving us that cushion, that equilibrium on a general scale. So that our environmental, you know, patterns could remain, you know, balanced, and they could be bearable. The thing is that, you know, after when they start shedding water, they have literally, you know, the water literally start, you know, traversing across the, you know, bread baskets of central Punjab all the way. It traverses all the terrains of Pakistan. Finally, it stream up with the Arabian Sea. That is going to wreak havoc. And
wreak havoc in what sense?
In a sense, because there are many settlements within the way that are, you know, largely disturbed. Just before the program, I was talking to Dr. Saab, and he, you know, pointed out that very amazing fact that, you know, the floods and all those, you know, phenomena like such, they are not this. The glaciers, the melting of glaciers are not the sole causes of this. Basically, you know, this phenomena has been, you know, happening over centuries, and there weren't any, you know, storms, there weren't any devastations, there weren't 1,200 people killed just in 2015 in Pakistan. It's just because we have literally encroached the passages of that, you know, the water bodies.
So then that means that understanding Dr. Saab's definition of climate change, that means that there has been land displacements too, and then that's why you're saying that it's going to wreak havoc?
It's well, land displacement maybe, but I think it's the encroachments.
Okay.
What happened is, you know, that the population has increased tremendously. The area of floodplains was already there. If you go to Swat River is now a very small river, whereas I mean, like the river bed is very large. But then what happened is, like, people have encroached that area. Similarly, if you go, we have example of Lai, Nala Lai. So every year, you know, like people, they encroach the area, and then it is the destruction.
And then I think there's this sense of awareness which people need to have, and that is that please do not throw all the garbage in it too as well, and it causes problem because, you know, people throughout the year, that's what they do, and then all of a sudden when the rain starts, you know, they're there to clean and whatnot, and then there are people who are actually telling them not to live over here. But very important question, and that was that you said that, you know, the amount of emissions we were, and then we committed that, okay, we are going to bring it down too. Now, as a matter of fact, Bilal, you yourself are affiliated with the energy sector, right? In Pakistan, at the moment, quite a lot of work is being done in the energy sector. How do you think we're going to fulfill this commitment?
Basically, you know, we have put our needs above anything, even at the cost of the devastation of the environment. Energy sector, I mean, let's start with America. Then I'll come back to Pakistan. Just in one line, I'll describe the status of America. They are basically exploiting 85% of their gas reservoirs through hydraulic fracturing. Now, hydraulic fracturing is not a simple process. That actually demands you to, you know, to put some propellant material within the Earth's surface that is directly contaminating, you know, the water bodies, and also the most, threatening fact which is looming day by day is, you know, carbon dioxide emission, along with the greenhouse gases.
Okay, but now that's the thing. So we've talked about the threats, but what is the energy sector working on? What green?
Yeah, how are we going to do that? What energy alternatives
green
are we
energy. Are we working on within Pakistan in order to reach
biogas
the 20% decrease?
Stuff like this.
Okay, basically.
But we'll have to do it very quickly because we have to end up the segment here.
Okay, I'll start with a very interesting fact that the carbon dioxide level, because we have concentration in environment of different gases, that is a part of the natural process
Yeah.
of the world. The carbon dioxide concentration in air did not rise over 300 ppm between the
ppm
advent.
is
ppm
Part
is
per
a
million.
part per million
Okay.
between the advent of human civilization
Okay.
and 1900,
Right.
but it has just increased by the number 400 ppm in just 100 years.
Okay, so that's fine. So what
I think this is the
Pakistan-
watch works in
okay,
US too.
Energy,
So,
yeah.
So what are
I
we
think
doing?
alternate energy, for example, renewable energy is one of the, safe energy or green
Yes.
energy. Solar, you said biogas. Yes, I think that is one of the option, but maybe at a smaller scale. Then we have wind. I mean, like Pakistan has a good resources.
Then we have electric cars.
If you have electricity, so then yes,
Yeah,
electric.
let's get electricity in our
If we
homes
get
all
it
the
from
time.
biogas, you
Okay.
Yeah, and then there are other options, but they are very expensive. But then I think solar and wind
Okay.
is one of the cheaper,
Clean energies.
and cleaner energy.
That we need
which-
to.
yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been quite informative for the first day after
Exactly.
Independence Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
for
Thank
being
you
here.
for
And
having us.
just one small thing, and that is, what do you think as individuals we need to do to stop the process of climate change?
I think
Very
it's not
quickly.
easy to stop, but then we can take our responsibility and use our resources wisely. Whatever we need, we should actually not go beyond our needs.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. And now we have to go for a short break. And when you come back, we do have another guest in the studio, and we will be discussing how to motivate and make your day more positive. Stay tuned.
And I think it's about public speaking. So, do you
Let's
think
have
we
a
need a
look.
guest, or we can do it too?
I know, I think we need a guest to train us.
Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTY, you watching World this morning alongside Maha Makhdoom and Shazad Khan. Today, earlier, we were in conversation with Dr. Ijaz and Muhammad Bilal, and we were talking about climate change.
And we learned a few things, and we said the brief, briefly described the difference between climate and global, climate change and global warming.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. It's such a our producers really like to shove us in front of a bus every after a very intense weekend. But no, now
And
we
then they tend to jump away, and then we just
have to
stand
deal
there.
with it. Yeah, we have to deal with a car
Boom.
crash. But now we've been joined by Ayab Ahmed. He is a youth and social activist. He's also an analyst on youth affairs, and he does public speaking to take the youth towards the positive aspect of Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for
very
joining
coming
us.
over, and I think I remember that you were a part of the Youth Assembly too.
Yes, I was.
Are you still?
Excellent.
No, I'm not right now.
Is it because you're not youth, or?
No, I'm still the youth, but like.
I get it. We're still youth, man, so you're still youth. Now, okay, so let's get jumped, because we have got very short time. Tell us, what exactly are you doing ever since you left the Youth Assembly?
After that, basically, I had my good training from there, and after that, basically, what I do is wherever I go as a public speaker, I try to give the message of positive Pakistan to the youth.
All right.
Okay.
And positive Pakistan, for example, we have a practical example right here, like PTV is always giving positive.
I'll
message
give you
for
another
Pakistan.
example of this too as well, but complete first.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
What is positive Pakistan? Basically, like if we ignore all the negative things, all the riots, chaos, everything, and if we just focus into the positive things of Pakistan, like tourism and like our youth, they have a lot of talent, like many youngsters from backward areas, they are inventing new things. If we bring them up, so like we can obviously that youth can represent Pakistan from all over the world.
Okay, so since
Interesting point.
you've said about promoting them. So we've got Samina Bey, we have got Arfa, and then we have got Malala Yousafzai. We've got so many other heroes who are there on top of the world. Now, how do you think we can do it with the majority of the people? Because it's just, 1 in a million, then 1 in a million somewhere else, and then 1 in 100.
So basically, Pakistan is comprising of 60% youth. So 60%.
So bored of this line now. Man.
60
Why? No, but it's true.
So earlier it was 60%, 60, but people love to give away figures, right?
Yeah, but that's just truth.
Pakistan is just full of youth, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how we can bring them up as like, for example, we can set up a team. Like I have a group of more than 50 people right with me. They are from the different districts. So what they do is like wherever they find a talent, for example, a son of a very poor family. And he cannot afford the media, he cannot come in front of the media. What they do is they give them the projection, and like for example, they start with the local newspapers. For example, that boy or girl, whatever, like that, he has done some, like for example, he has done he has taken good
I'm sorry,
position.
but you have to say something.
Relax.
Yeah,
you're
relax,
relaxing.
take it easy.
Okay. So give us an example. So the people that are working in your different districts, what kind of talents have you stumbled across?
Yeah.
For example, we have a girl in Murray. Her name is Asma. Like she basically what she did is in the technical field, she made some different designs of the clothes, like that are now found in all out of the countries like London, America.
So you've helped her actually reach out to the outer world.
Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
basically-
Now, how do you think that it's going to help Pakistan too? Because 1 in a million or 1 in a district, that's what I said, and that's what my original question was, is not going to help. So what we have to
Well,
do
he's
is
helped that one person,
so
that's
we
the
have to
point.
do it with the masses, that everybody gets the opportunity. So then, for example, if somebody is not talented, we can probably teach them.
We can teach them. We can provide
Find
them.
their strength.
Yeah.
We can provide them with technical education,
Okay.
whatever, like in whatever field they
Vocational
are,
trainings.
whatever field they are expert in. We can provide them that type of workshops, trainings.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that you are providing a platform and connecting people to the external world, which is great. You help one person at a time. You can't help
Superb.
help millions of people at one time.
Exactly,
Right?
gradually,
So, okay, so now there's this one girl in Murray. Now, in regards to your team, you've got, you've set up your own kind of network system,
yeah.
which is assisting kids, which is fantastic. How are you planning now to have that ripple effect? Because that's what you want, isn't it?
Wow.
For example, my team with me right now, what they are doing is like they are pointing out the problems and issues of the local constituencies, like whatever
Okay.
constituencies they are living in.
How do you find out what the problems are, though?
like they reach to the general public and they ask them about their issues, yeah.
Okay.
And so like they get to know about the issues, and then they bring up the issues on the channels, on the newspapers, and what's the basically the problem is that the youth of nowadays they are not getting a chance in the newspapers or in the media.
Okay.
They are
No.
not getting that much
Oh, no,
chance.
and that is true. There is a monopoly of
Yeah.
previous or even current that won't give space.
There might be. But because I
There
think
is, for
I
sure.
would love to be very optimistic and positive about this aspect, and that is that, now it is a very cutthroat industry. If you have got something very different to offer, only then you will be welcomed, or probably if you can teach somebody else. Now, as a matter of fact, what I want to have an argument over is that
Discussion, no
yeah,
argument,
or
discussion.
okay, let's make a discussion, and that
Yes.
the problem with general public is that they are not aware of the hierarchy. They are not aware of anything. They do not know which district officer to go to, where they do not know which provincial officer to go to. How do you think that you're going to spread awareness about that? And I'm going to refer to a problem too. For example, when I wanted and I wished that I'm going to work for television, I never knew that there are production houses or probably talent houses who are going to, you have to send them your portfolios. So there wasn't a chain right in front of me. I had to figure it out myself. Are people
got a-
willing to do it?
I've got an answer for that as well, but let's ask you.
If you take the example, like if someone wants to come up in the media field, what you do is you organize a workshop. You call the chairman of different media groups, the chairman. If, like, for example, I have the access to the chairmans. What should I do is I should invite all the chairmans, some of the chairmans on that workshop, and I invite the youth, the backward youth, whatever the youth I want to invite there. I should invite them there, and they should now bring up their ideas, whatever they want to do in that field.
Like there's open days type situation going on where people it's a networking
And people
system,
tell you that this
basically,
is what you're supposed to do.
where you meet the CEOs, where you meet the heads of organizations with your ideas.
Exactly.
So no, but another thing
Yeah.
is, back when you wanted to probably start media, the internet was probably just taking off. Nowadays, everyone, backwards locations or, rural, I like to use the word rural locations, everyone has access to the internet. You can find out information at the tip of your fingers. So the youth don't know. That's ignorance self-imposed, and we need to guide them now.
Yes.
We need to guide them, and then I think
my
education is
opinion.
going to play a very pivotal role in it.
Well,
I
they
mean,
can
for
read.
somebody, that's what I'm saying. So, if you have the definition of literacy as, if you can probably do your signature.
Okay, no, listen.
How do you
These
think
guys
they're
can
going
write
to read?
text messages. They are able to converse, so they can read like your basic text.
I do get to see people where they tell me to write a text message for them.
Okay.
There are
See,
people
so we
right
do
now,
have these
yeah.
Okay,
problems,
so then how are we going to reach out to those people who are, in that situation?
even within the districts.
Yeah.
What we are doing regarding that is like we have reached our local MNAs and MPAs, and what we are doing is like we have previously, I think 2 weeks back, we gave an article in different newspapers that the youth of our area, our constituency, they need, like for example, those youth who cannot afford the schools or colleges, they need like our MNAs or MPAs. They need to set up the colleges or schools, like quality colleges, from where we can they
Okay.
can get the quality education.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. But it's easier to say that the MNAs and the MPAs.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to say that. Now the thing is, when the youth are mobilized and are united towards a common goal, then will you see change somewhere, right?
I would like to interrupt here because
You're not interrupting you. You're more than welcome to talk.
the message we always, I personally, from the last 3-4 years, I'm giving to the in my circle, wherever I go, the message I give is that youth have talent.
Yes.
And they should not like get used by the political parties. But like, for example, they have the talent and they should not say Zindabad or Murdabad
I
like
get your
this.
point.
yeah.
I get your point. So
Okay.
what he's trying to say over here is that most of the time people take advantage of the energy these young people have,
talent.
and then their
And
talents, and then they
vulnerability.
use them, and then they probably earn money out of it too as well. But as a matter of fact, I think people, when they jump into a job, into a certain workplace, they learn with the passage of time. If you have been so dumb by the end of the day that
No, wait.
you do not even realize what's
No, no.
happening, I think you need to do your research.
No, no,
then.
no. I think we need to not be so mean to people and be so judgmental.
No, I'm not
because
being
the thing
mean,
is, look, because the thing is, sometimes even within an organization, there is no guidance. There is, like I said, it's up to you to do your own research. But when the system is broken, then how will you
Mahat,
ever
this is
progress?
why Pakistani people are so talented. Imagine that half of the Pakistani people from the rural areas and even the urban areas, they go to US, they go to UK, and after 5 years they call up, I've got 5 petrol pumps over here. You know, they do have a system, but imagine that they are so talented that no matter which ship or which sea you're going to throw them in, they're going to probably survive and swim out of it.
Exactly.
So as a matter of fact, all of what you want to do is actually going to start from within you.
And exactly, and the youth really need to have, not ever
And thank you
forget
very
that.
much for giving them this platform where they can actually have a
take the
conversation.
example from within Pakistan, like youth appear, for youngsters, they appear in CSS exams from the backward areas. Most of the people who are coming in the positions for assistant commissioners or deputy commissioners.
What do you mean? Okay, wait, I want you to define, what do you mean by backward areas? You use that word 3
Backward
times.
areas, for example, Badin,
Where there are no roads,
Thatta,
where there's no electricity, no
Sindh,
Wi-Fi.
Interior Balochistan, where
Okay.
they're not, where they don't have the internet access, where they don't.
So imagine where there's no internet access, this is the only dream they're going to look forward to because this is what they have seen. Over here in urban areas, you get too many other jobs, telecommunication sector, media,
So that's what he's
whatnot.
saying, that they're still able to come out of that. But any last message you'd like to share with everyone before we wrap up? Just look in the camera.
The last message I want to share is like I always share this message that the youth of Pakistan is very talented. They should not spoil themselves up by the hands of different persons who use them politically or for their own purposes. Like they should always bring up their talents in front of the media. PTV is always here for Positive Pakistan and always supporting the talent of the youth. So
Pakistan, Zindabad.
Yeah, great. So I'm really sorry, completely run out of time. But thank you so much for being here, and good luck with promoting the positivity.
Thank you.
And anything we can do to help, we are here.
Exactly.
So with that, guys, I hope you took something from the show. We had a little conversation on climate change and a little conversation on the way that the direction the youth are headed. So with that, log on to our Facebook fan
Which
page,
is with the name of World This Morning.
Twitter page,
World This Morning without a G.
Daily Motion and YouTube page.
World This Morning, World This Morning.
And the repeat is at
11 p.m.
Have a wonderful day, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. And if you see a flag or some rubbish on the floor, please pick it up. We have to live here.
Keep it closer to your heart. Good morning. Look after yourselves. Thank you.